I'm Amirali Alibhai from the Aga Khan Museum, and I'm here with Tanya Evanson, um, spoken word artist, author, singer, artist, dervish, all those things. It's nice to see you.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me to do this interview online.
We would have met in person because you had been booked to perform at the museum on the 18th, excuse me, of April. And now we're self-isolating, we're practicing social distancing. It's not possible for us to have the show, but I thought it would be great for us to have a conversation, to talk about what you're up to, what life is like right now for you.
Well, life, other than all of the summer public events, my public events being canceled, I continue doing what I was doing before, which is staying at home and writing, which is, that's what writers do. So we just keep doing it. And I'm lucky enough to have a home kind of studio office space. So that's where I am right now. And I love walking across the corridor every morning and coming to work here and kind of having my own discipline to do that. So I'm just finishing up my third book, and I'm moving now from poetry to prose. So I've written a couple of books of poetry, or had a couple of books of poetry published, and this is now a book of prose. It's a novella, and it will be going to the publishers in a few days, and it's the story of actually how I became a semazen, or a whirling dervish. So that's the project that I'm working on right now, that I'm finishing up. And then there are some other projects in the wind as well.
Well, that's wonderful to hear that you're, able to, you're continuing your practice. And, one of the things that I know you do are video poems. And today we're going to show people your video poems as part of this interview. And the one that we're going to see first is YAHU, and we'll show that to people who are watching. La 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 Wow, Tanya, the things in that work, in that video piece, for me that really stuck out were the use of symmetry, of course, seeing the semazen, the whirling dervish imagery, at the splitting, the bilateralness of it was really compelling. The reflections in the water, I thought, were beautiful as well. So something very peaceful and introspective.
I'm so glad. That was the goal. I've been interested in video poetry for some time, but in the past I've always worked with filmmakers. But now that we have the technology, right at our fingertips, and also I started painting a few years ago as well, so I started becoming more interested in visuals and how I could manipulate my own visuals and the videos and photos that I take, and how I could combine them with either poems or songs myself. So that's kind of one aspect. And I think symmetry is what we're really missing right now. I think people are feeling imbalanced, wondering what's going on here. Why are we experiencing this mass pandemic right now? And people feel off, I think. And so I wanted to offer something. It's old work with a new twist, because it's the piece YAHU is off my 2012 album, Language for Gods. But when I was looking for a piece to merge with images, I listened to that and I thought, oh, this would be a beautiful gift right now for people to have a sense of peace and to restore a sense of balance, and also to inspire meditation and music, which I think is two very useful tools that we have as those of us who are lucky enough to have a home are making use of.
Yeah, and I think that, the idea that we can all be creative in this moment, because you spoke about having the tools, and many of those tools, sometimes they are a challenge. Technology can be challenging some days, more so than other days. But those tools, what you're speaking of, so many of us have the opportunity to share what we're doing in our homes with one another. It's nice to see you in your home. I would see you normally, on a stage. So it's very cool to see you in this way. So thank you for inviting.
And likewise too. It's beautiful that you say that. Everyone is artistic. Everyone is creative, and this is a really good moment to kind of prove it to yourself. How creative are you, and how artistic are you? You don't have to call yourself an artist to be those things. You're born with those things. So we're just, hopefully people are letting those aspects of themselves fly, because anxiety is highly overrated.
Yeah. And so these video poems that you've been making as a accomplished, experienced spoken word artist and poet, it's a genre that's been around for a while, and you've been working with it for how long?
Only for the last few years, because when my first book of poetry was published in 2017, Bothism, it was a very quiet book. It wasn't a book of spoken word poems. I wanted to be read quietly and in private. So I wasn't sure how to present it to an audience. So the book made me create a video poem for it. So I created a 20-minute video poem for it. And so when people would come to a performance of the book, they would watch a film, and I would be behind them performing from the book, but you only hear me as a disembodied voice. And so I'm just a voice in your head as you're watching these images that all have a lot of symmetry to them, and therefore will hopefully lead you towards unity, because that's also what the book was about, and what a lot of these images are about. And what I'm trying to say is unity, but from multiplicity. How can we remember that unity exists, that we are all one? So that's what the video poems are there for.
And that idea of unity, and movement that you've mentioned, the first piece that we saw, YAHU has that central movement, and it's bilateral to the left and right. And then this next piece that I wanted people to see is called Active Creation. And let's let people look at that right now.
Listen to know, know to do, do to progress, progress to arrive, arrive to find, find to lose, lose yourself. Listen to know, know to do, do to progress, progress to arrive, arrive to find, find to lose, lose yourself. Lose yourself to be found, let yourself be found by yourself. Find yourself again to know yourself to love and love to be loved. Lose yourself to be found, let yourself be found by yourself. Find yourself again to know yourself to love and love to be loved. everything will become clear. Everything will become clear. Everything will become clear. Listen to know, know to do, do to progress, progress to arrive, arrive to find, find to lose, lose yourself. Lose yourself to be found, let yourself be found by yourself. Find yourself again to know yourself to love, love to be loved. Then everything will become clear. Everything will become clear. Everything, everything, everything.
You know, that was a journey, right? I really felt like I had gone through a journey. I was feeling hypnotized, you know, like I could really get sucked into it. It was psychedelic. That's the word, you know, for me on a certain level. And yet had, you know, Tanya Evanson all over it, because I could hear your voice from your album that I'm familiar with. Could you
But
tell?
hopefully,
Yeah.
well, I'm so glad that you had those experiences. That's also the goal of that piece as well. It's kind of to inspire traveling without moving, which is what meditation does as well anyways. And, you know, we're all stuck in our homes. We have a home to be stuck in, and that we're very thankful for. But these images of the road that I had taken on my travels, I was sucked into them. But it's not enough to show an image of the road. These days you need two ideas. One idea is not enough for an artist. You need two ideas to put together. And so what I did was just take the same idea twice and change it a little bit so that your understanding and your own introspection of what it is to move, to travel, to see a road. But do you see the road? No, you don't, but you know that you're on one. So I wanted to kind of inspire different aspects, these different aspects for the viewer. And also, of course, the poem by Najm al-Din Razi, who's a 13th century Sufi poet and was a contemporary of Mevlana Rumi. So, and also with the music is done by the band that was on the Zenship album. So that track you can find on the Zenship album, which is, by the way, available on all platforms. So that's the Spotify and iTunes and Bandcamp and CD Baby. I just love that track, and it had a really, again, meditative quality. And I thought, let me remix this old work with new images to give it life again and put it out as a gift.
Oh, you use that word. I was going to say it's like a gift. And you know, I think that that's what artists have the capacity to give us. Poets, you know, it's National Poetry Month in Canada, and it was one of the reasons we had programmed you during this time. And but poetry is something that runs through, you know, we don't need a month, right, for it. It runs through so much of the museum's collection. It's everywhere in the arts that we deal with, and contemporary artists as well. It's still that place that that gives, you know, if we allow it to speak through our work. And, you know, I love how you've explored the visual, you know, the visual manifestation of poetry. I think that that's beautiful. And then music is always so important in your practice, and it's great to see that you continue to do that as well. So I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you, and inshallah we will be together again and be able to present your work to a live audience.
Inshallah, for sure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Much appreciated, Amirali.